Hello, my name is Skylar, and I'm here on the board of Group 5 with Bonnie, Sierra, Megan, and Shakira. We are bringing to you the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, we also call CAPTA today. The State of New Jersey Department of Child and Families defines abuse as the physical, sexual, or emotional harm or risk of harm to a child under the age of 18 caused by a parent or other person who acts as a caregiver for the child. Neglect occurs when a parent or caregiver fails to provide proper supervision of a child or adequate food, clothing, shelter, education, or medical care, although financially able or assisted to do so. CAPTA stands for Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act. The main purpose of this act is to stop child abuse from happening. Our bill's main goal is to educate the public on the abuse, what it looks like and feels like. We're trying to help millions of harmed children into a better environment. In this bill, it states that any recent act or failure to act on the part of a parent or caretaker which results in death, serious physical, emotional, sexual abuse, or exploitation. CAPTA was the first piece of federal legislation to significantly impact child protection. This bill was originally signed in 1974 by President Nixon, and this bill was amended several times, but it was last updated in 2020. The sad reality is that last year, about 1 in 7 children experienced child abuse and neglect, and the cost is actually rather high too, of $428 billion. Aside from that, the effects of child abuse can be very severe too: impaired brain development, poor physical health, psychological issues, relationship issues, substance abuse, behavioral issues, or even being abusive to others. So, CAPTA provides prevention and treatment programs to the public, state grants, and we help children who are homeless and are almost homeless. The types of abuse that we address are physical, emotional, sexual, and neglect. This will apply to children who are currently being abused, someone who witnessed a child being harmed without reporting it, any person who suspects child abuse, or children who are receiving treatment and adequate protection. Future plans we have for CAPTA, we plan to have our own CAPTA agency building, funding for social work agencies, and we plan to fund victims, and we also plan to link the social services to save more victims. These are our sponsors. Despite the program already in place to protect children, neglect and fatalities are still a serious problem. Children fatalities caused by neglect or abuse are hard to track than fatalities due to illness or accident. It is believed that these deaths are majorly underreported. So we want to see an interstate data system be made so we can keep track of this. There's a lot of causes for inaccuracies of data. Reporting requirements can vary from state to state, so we want to create a uniform system to establish collecting data and exchanging it from state to state. So this is going to require collecting and exchanging data about child abuse and neglect. The bill requires the Department of Health and Human Services to establish uniform national standards for tracking and reporting child fatalities and near fatalities resulting from malnutrition, and 2, develop an electronic interstate data exchange system that allows states to share information from their child abuse and neglect registries with other states. Child fatalities identify risks that may help create other prevention methods. We want to collect data and analysis and integrate the data collected from various systems across states. And this is to inform and be compiled into one place. This will allow for better coordination across agencies, and we will leave less room for families that slip through the cracks. For example, some case studies that demonstrate the effects of child abuse and neglect left undocumented and tracked throughout each state. These are cases where the CPS has failed to protect a child. We do need a uniform system. Gabriel Fernandez was a preventable death, and this was a case that was found when Mother Pearl and her boyfriend were both charged with the murder of this child. There was multiple visits to the home, but there was supposedly no finding signs of abuse. No one filed paperwork, which caused no further investigation. 4 social workers had visited the home despite multiple investigations of abuse, did nothing. Charges were filed against the 4 workers, but a judge dismissed the claims. Thomas Valva. This is a Suffolk County 8-year-old boy that died of hypothermia, forced to spend the night in an underheated garage with his father's house. The Collingswood boys were 4 adopted boys that were starved while living with their parents in Collingswood, New Jersey. On October 10, 2003, police were called by the neighbors because they found a 19-year-old boy going through their trash. They had arrived and they had found Bruce cold, shoeless, malnourished, and covered in bruises. He was 45 pounds and looked like he was 7 years old. Police then came to the home and found his brother weighing 23 pounds and a 10-year-old weighing 28 pounds. The mother pled guilty and was sentenced to 7 years, but only served 1 before being released. Although the actual number of children affected by abuse or neglect is uncertain, the fact still remains that 1 child fatality is too much. Young children are most often the victims of death caused by neglect or abuse. Improving review teams, increasing protective services, and coordinating data systems state by state are all steps to prevention. The bill is a necessary revision to the already in place Child Abuse and Prevention Treatment Act. This will make CAPTA stronger and more efficient, resulting in slowing and hopefully stopping this horrible tragedy. Child abuse statistics. Number of cases of child abuse in the United States in 2019 by age. And before the 19th century, children did not have any type of protection and abuse. And now we have the CAPTA as enacted in 1974. So we just want to increase the protection and the services in this CAPTA. In conclusion, there are some who do not agree with this bill. Discipline is defined by the process of actions taken by parents to teach children appropriate values and behaviors in society. These actions can include physical and non-physical punishment. Parents in the Eastern cultures tend to use a lot of physical punishment to discipline their children. The Asian culture believes, "I love you, that is why I hit you." This is also verbal discipline, like calling it to get their point across. As a result of this, a lot of children grow up not speaking their minds or saying no to their parents. Culture has been known for many roots of punishment. Bills like this need to be in place to protect children from abuse. The bill can save children's lives, and it will allow known abusers' information to be shared in a database across the state lines. That way, if a person leaves the state or flees to a state, their name will appear on the statewide database. The bill will hopefully lower child fatalities and near ones by having the person informed readily available. Thank you guys all for your time today.